Let's go. It's your back, they keep passing. It they bring out the best thing. I they feel your recipe. Make you give me that recipe. Fine, fine. Yeah, you fine. You so divine. I they feel you die.
What's happening, people? We gotta. Oop, man, I got something. What's happening, people? We got a new episode of Awesome Entertainment. It's your boy Joel Awesome. All right, we checking out this video. John Campea and them, they talking about a new DC show, The People vs. Gorilla Grodd. Sounds like a bad idea, but let's go ahead and hear what they got to say and see if there's any information that'll change my mind. But it don't even sound. It sounds like a good idea, but a bad idea at the same time. I'll explain later.
With this. Well, you guys may have heard, we've been talking about it a little bit. There's been a lot of whispers, some talking about a Jimmy Olsen and Gorilla Grodd show.
Boo.
And, you know, I've kind of been...
Oh, okay, is that... I didn't know this was the Jimmy Olsen show. I thought it was this. I didn't know there were two different things. And look at his face. That's how I feel. That's my mood right now. Like, I don't know about this one. Look, man. I wasn't feeling the Superman. It was goofy, it was clowny, it was Guardians of the Galaxy Superman, and really wasn't hit for me. I really didn't care about the Jimmy Olsen jokes didn't hit for me. So now we got a Jimmy Olsen spinoff show. We still ain't seen Batman. We still ain't seen The Flash. Green Lantern's been reduced to a bird, a bird ass nigga, and you know what I mean. Martian Manhunter's a villain now. And like, what we doing, man? We gotta tighten up. Gorilla Grodd is a cool villain, and I like the idea of a courtroom show with some of the villains. I like that idea, but we gotta be in like phase 4, 5, 6 by now. I think the issue with some of these cinematic universe trying to do shows and movies, I think it's fucking them up. But let's.
Are we really gonna have Jimmy Olsen in 3 different things before we ever get Batman? Are we literally gonna...
And this is the thing. I get having him in 1 or 2 or 3 things because they wanted him to be the connective piece. If you watch the Daredevil Netflix MCU street level shit, the Defenders stuff, Claire, the nurse, is the connective tissue that kind of connects all the heroes. In Marvel, they did it a little bit with Coulson at the beginning, Agent Coulson. Until they killed him off in Avengers, but he was in Iron Man. He showed up at the end of Iron Man. No, he wasn't. That was Nick Fury. My bad. But then Coulson shows up at the end of Iron Man 2. I'm pretty sure he's in Thor, and then he might be in the Hulk. I don't think he's in the Hulk, but he was kind of the glue piece. And then they did the Agents of the Shield show, which I don't think is I think that's a good idea, but I don't like the fact that they disconnected from the universe and make it not canon. Jimmy Olsen ain't on Coulson level or Claire, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I don't think he wasn't that guy for me. It ain't had nothing to do with the actor. It was just like, bro, what do we do? Like, we ain't there yet, man. We ain't there yet. I don't even like Superman. I mean, I like the actor. I think he's a good Superman, but I just didn't like the movie. So I'm like, I don't like Superman. I don't like Supergirl. Green Lanterns is going the wrong direction. You trying to convince me of a Jimmy Olsen show? I'm like, I don't know. I get here that he's the connective tissue and that they want to have him in a bunch of projects, but they need to be fucking projects we care about, man. Let's see.
We're going to have Jimmy Olsen in 3 different things before we get Wonder Woman. And
I'm saying, where Wonder Woman?
Thoughts on that. But today, the official announcement came out, and I have to admit, I am a little bit more intrigued. Variety is here reporting that the official title is now officially greenlit. HBO has officially put in the series order, and it is called The People vs. Gorilla Grodd. As a mockumentary series set at HBO Max, Skyler, Gisondo, and Jimmy Tatro are going to be starring in it. Now, of course, Skyler plays Jimmy Olsen, and Jimmy... He's been in a bunch of things recently, but of course he got his big breakout thing in American Vandal.
Okay.
Which is not the only connection.
All right, let me go back. is a mockumentary. I've never heard of that word before. But the way they've been mocking the characters in Superman, then you got him getting pissed on by the dog, calling him a bitch. Green Lanterns, you know, they're basically worthless. They done clowned the catchphrase and everything. It's like, I don't know if I want. They're really gonna make fun of this shit, and Gorilla Grodd is an easy person to make fun of. I don't like how I don't think this is gonna be a respectful for the DC fans. I think it's gonna be
The People versus Gorilla Grodd. The show was first officially reported back in November of 2025, but now HBO Max has given the show an 8-episode order.
8 episodes.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. The log line for the show states, a super intelligent ape, being played by Tatro, is convicted of murdering his father, the king of Gorilla City. In an 8-part true crime docuseries, the Daily Planet's Jimmy Olsen reopens the case, investigating whether Gorilla Grodd was wrongfully convicted in one of Metropolis's most famous murder trials.
Let's stop right there. A true crime docuseries. That's what you're doing with Green Lantern. Now I ain't seen true crime. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know. But I watched at least 4, 5, 6, 8 reviews that have said this is like true crime. Or is it True Detectives? My bad. They say True Detectives, which I'm assuming is a true crime docuseries. Either way, it looked like they're doing the same shit. But Jimmy Olsen is investigating Gorilla Grodd. Wouldn't that be Barry Allen? Wouldn't that be Wally West? Wouldn't that be, any of the Flash characters? Why are we doing this crossover? You know what I mean? And this sounds like there's going to be zero action. There's going to be no action. It's going to be a bunch of monkey jokes, gorilla jokes, Jimmy Olsen trying to get hoes jokes. I don't know, man. Y'all ain't convincing me. At least, this is what I'm saying. At least make it Jim Gordon, or better yet, because a Jim Gordon show really ain't on point, especially with no Batman around. Which bring Batman around, we can get to these other shows. That's why, when you can bring Batman around, we get to these other shows. But Jim Gordon or Barbara Gordon, there couldn't be anybody doing the investigation. It has to be Jimmy Olsen. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Okay, look. Everything I said before, guys, about it feels very wrong that we're literally going to have a Jimmy Olsen character.
It is
Superman,
wrong.
In People vs. Gorilla Grodd, in Man of Tomorrow, before we even get Batman in the universe. I mean, there's just something off of it.
I'll keep pausing. I can't make it through 4 sentences. Another thing is a People vs. Gorilla Grodd show would work if we already had a Flash movie where they stop. You know what I mean? Where we saw the shit happen and then we go into a trial series. Right? I think one of the, they dropped the ball with She-Hulk. Daredevil did it a couple times where he was defending the White Tiger. We saw what happened and we saw him not go to the defense. I think you could have did that in a movie. Right? With the character, even a sidekick, Gorilla Grodd didn't even have to be the main villain. He could have been one of the first, second villains in the movie, maybe a Flash movie. And then later on, you do a spinoff show where we talk about the thing and he's trying to prove himself innocent from the movie. But, I only have nothing but great ideas. Let me stop.
About that, and I don't change my thought on that. However, when you realize that this is going to be show run by the two guys who created American Vandal, which was amazing. American Vandal was so funny and so good. And it played on that whole true crime wave. What was the main one? That main one that got everybody interested, and it was that kid who got convicted of murdering his girlfriend, but they're revisiting whether or not he actually did it. I can't remember the name of it. I'm sure a lot of you guys in the live chat remember. It was the most famous podcast in the world for a while. But anyway, American Vandal was kind of a play on that. And for them to bring this into the world of DC.
Have your deepest desires come true? Not the one that matters. Here's the thing.
I'm not gonna lie, guys. I kind of low-key love this. I'm not taking
Y'all like
any of the stuff
man.
that I said before about the fact that, listen, we're getting an awful lot of projects here before we even have 2 of the 3 Trinity members.
This is ridiculous.
In the DCU.
I know y'all ain't got his head up there, but the Superman poster.
But
come on,
if
bro.
you were to ask me in a vacuum,
come on, bro.
the creators of American Vandal doing a mockumentary.
Yo, James Gunn. James Gunn is a secret agent sent by Kevin Feige. All right. James Gunn used to do the Guardians movies, and he's infiltrated the DC universe and is going to come up with whatever he can to bring this shit down. He's Nico Harrison. He Nico Harrison. He got into the Mavericks organization. He snuck in. He got Luka. He got the fuck out. This is the same shit we've seen this before. It's sabotage. It has to be. It has to be. There's no way you look at this shit and think, yeah, we finna make some money. Man, there's no way.
Crime docuseries
of
one of Metropolis's most intrepid reporters reopening a murder cold case that saw Gorilla Grodd be convicted and diving in and investigating that in a vacuum. I would say hell yes. Yes, all of this. Listen, if I'm going to be honest,
you
this
phase
just
6,
sounds like a
fine.
straight up
Y'all
fantastic
3 movies
idea.
in.
I think it sounds wildly entertaining.
It's a horrible idea. And this is the reason why. Gorilla Grodd is a Flash. You haven't introduced the Flash. There's no heroes involved. There are no heroes involved in this. It's Jimmy Olsen and Gorilla Grodd. We're doing a DC show with no heroes. It sounds like a bad idea. Ask Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse people, how that shit goes.
Again, that does not take away any of my previous feelings that, that we should be getting Batman going before a Jimmy Olsen show. We should be getting Wonder Woman going before a Jimmy Olsen show. Maybe meet Flash. Maybe meet Cyborg. Maybe meet Aquaman. I don't know. But this
we do. You sound like you do know.
This vacuum, I think sounds absolutely wonderful. Like I like it way more than what I thought it was going to be, which was a traditional narrative procedural show, mockumentary style docuseries about a crime that Jimmy Olsen doesn't think Gorilla Grodd committed. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't completely tantalized by it. I think it sounds really good. Anyway, Rob, we've been talking about
how much is DC paying?
the idea of the Jimmy Olsen and Gorilla Grodd show, which still is a bit of a head scratcher in general, I admit. But I gotta say, I love the sounds of this. I don't know. You finally got to read the log line today, like I did. What do you make of it?
Well, again, it's certainly a high wire act in terms of writing, and I think they've got the right people involved to do it. But I hope it doesn't descend into. I mean, it's kind of like what I hoped would happen with She-Hulk.
Bro, it is She-Hulk. It's not what you hoped. It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be what they're telling you is going to be what they told you She-Hulk was going to be. And She-Hulk was none of that shit that they said it was going to be. It was a goofy, stupid, retarded show that had nothing to do with courts and had nothing to do with superheroes. This is going to be the same thing. It might be worse. At least She-Hulk busted out and twerked for us. I don't want to see Gorilla Grodd twerk. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to see. I wanted to see a comedic show.
See that.
Set in the
I don't
MCU
want no more comedic shows, man. I don't want no more. I want some serious shit. I keep saying that. I said it before. I'll probably say it in another video. The sad realization of these superhero cinematic universes when I realize, okay, MCU is number one, obviously. But the second best cinematic superhero universe is the Arrowverse. Full of garbage. But the Arrowverse at least takes themselves seriously. At least some of the time. Not even all the time, but some of the time when the bad guy shows up, it's like, oh shit, like we gotta do something, And the acting may not be on point. they may not be the best actors sometimes and cast in the shows, but they're taking it serious, man. That's all I can ask for.
The legal ramifications of metahumans running around doing all kinds of things. How does that affect the MCU? And to me, I thought the possibilities of storylines and characters showing up and cameos and yet a real examination into what would happen, and we didn't get that. And to me, this could be a really great, both
we're not
a really interesting show about the DC universe itself, but also at the same time, a meta send-up and a very comedic look at our own world. It's a mirror reflection of what's going on in our own world today. And that's
hearing comedic love when nobody funny is involved in the project just hurts my heart. You know what I mean? It's like, we're going to do a comedy. It's like, who are the comedians y'all have working on this? We going to do it. Stop it, bro.
That's where Grad
at least hire Drewski
comes from. So when I was reading this, I'm like, okay. People
to be the judge.
That Jack Kirby introduced the new gods in the pages of Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah.
So we could see some really interesting. I mean, I'm in for this, man. But again, I admit it's going to take a real deft touch when it comes to the writing of this, because it could go off the rails really fast. But if it doesn't go off the rails, it could be classic.
And that's what gives me a little bit of hope right now, is the
all
fact
this
that
shit could be classic. It is classic. It's DC.
Are the guys who just
if you keep doing it wrong, it's still gonna be ass.
To do a show like this when they did American Vandal,
right?
Because I was shocked how fun and entertaining and funny that show was. And it never once, because that show felt like from episode 1, it felt like any minute, like you said, at any minute it could go off the rails. And it never did. It never did. It always skated on that line. And if they can bring that to a show like this, and again, the same kind of caveat that we apply to Lanterns, guys, it's HBO. When do they miss?
Hold on now. I know how you feel, because HBO be on point. But we ain't gonna act like Game of Thrones flop like a fish, like where the SpongeBob drop on the deck and flop like a fish. Game of Thrones fell off. House of Dragons season 2 fell off. HBO has the ability to fuck up, but it's not just HBO. It's DC. This is literally DC in James Gunn's humor is the problem with this shit, man. And we going all to these obscure characters. We going Gorilla Grodd's dad in this motherfucker. Come on, bruh.
Rarely.
Yeah, not rarely.
And John, James Gunn said this was something they were pitching before Peter Safran and him took over the DC universe. Right. So this has been a show that they've been discussing for a while. And like you said, if it's HBO, I mean, if you think about HBO comedies all the way back to a favorite of mine, Dream On, from the early 90s, which, Brian Ben as Martin Tupper, which I guess.
Man, I just think this cinematic universe is just dying, bro. I'm really interested to see how much money Man of Tomorrow makes. Supergirl didn't make no money. Superman made 600 M's. I myself I'm not going to spend my money to go see Man of Tomorrow. I might watch it on streaming. I'll give it a chance on streaming, but I'm not spending my money on it. Because I hated the first one. I hate the direction. I hate all the other shits. So it's I don't know, man. It's interesting to see what Man of Tomorrow is going to make. It's so crazy to have an IP like DC to own Batman and Superman and The Flash and not use them and bastardize them. It's crazy. Either way, y'all let me know what y'all think. Hit like, hit share, hit subscribe. I'm out.
Don't play with my patience, man, they gone with the flow when they tryna fake it. That's not the way I roll, that's not the combination. You start off with the dough before you start the conversation. No one start the salutations, man, don't play with me. I'm coming from a place they would hate to be. I'm going through a phase you would hate to see. They say this life's a trip, Ain't no telling where it's taking me. When you on the edge and you make your next move, better be your best. Before you throw it to the depths, better reinvest. Man, I count every moment and count every step, so I know I'm blessed. Now it's time to